The 1960s marked a transformative era in American history, and New York City, the cultural and economic epicenter, was at the forefront of this cultural revolution. From the bustling streets of Manhattan to the vibrant neighborhoods of Brooklyn, the city experienced significant changes in its social, political, and artistic landscape. Today, we will explore how life was in 1960s New York City, offering an accurate portrayal of the era that shaped the city's identity and left an indelible mark on American history. In New York City, the 1960s were an important era for social change, as several movements questioned the way things were and fought for equality and justice. Influential figures like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. inspired thousands through their lectures and nonviolent marches during the heyday of civil rights anger. Significant changes were made to New Yorkers' lives as a result of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, a major piece of law that outlawed discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, or national origin. This act also promoted an inclusive and diverse society. During this time, the women's liberation movement gained popularity as it supported equal rights and opportunities for women. With Betty Friedan and Gloria Steinem emerging as significant leaders, New York City developed and became a magnet for feminist voices. They battled against discrimination, questioned conventional gender roles, and sought reproductive freedom and fair pay. Their action contributed to gender equality in the long run by opening up more chances for women in politics, the workforce, and education. The city's scenery and beauty remained attractive even in the face of the social and cultural changes that made New York City famous in the 1960s. Despite the urban bustle and the always changing skyline, New York City provided a stunning visual tapestry that included both the well-known landmarks and the undiscovered gems that helped define its unique personality. The architectural wonders of the 1960s dominated the cityscape of New York, highlighting the creative ability and aspiration of the time. The Chrysler Building and the Empire State Building stood out against the sky as magnificent examples of Art Deco architecture. A magnificent engineering achievement, the Brooklyn Bridge connected Manhattan to the boroughs and provided beautiful views of the city's riverscape. An escape from the busy streets was offered by Central Park, a green haven in the middle of the concrete jungle. It provided comfort and peace to both locals and visitors with its huge expanses of verdant grass, winding roads, and serene lakes. Intricately planned gardens and imposing trees in the park created a vibrant backdrop that changed constantly to reflect the passing of the seasons and time. Each neighborhood in the city had its unique attractions and personality. With its tree-lined ways and antique brownstones, Greenwich Village was full of an old-world charm and developed into a haven for creative types, thinkers, and bohemians. While Chinatown provided a window into a foreign world with its elaborate architecture, busy markets, and delicious fragrances. The colorful streets of Harlem pulsed with the rhythms of jazz and the vitality of African-American culture. The city's charm was found in its unexpected views and secret corners, in addition to its well-known landmarks. The Soho neighborhood's winding cobblestone lanes, with its cast-iron facades and artist lofts, provided a prelude to the area's future development as a creative hub. Although it wasn't yet an elevated park, the High Line was once a deserted railroad track that provided a unique viewpoint of the city's industrial infrastructure, in contrast to a few isolated pockets of nature. The waterfronts of the city served as an example of its ties to the sea. The Hudson and East River docks and piers were humming with activity as ships from all over the world carried commodities, people, and cultures to New York City's borders. The city skyline could be seen from the shoreline in stunning detail, and at night, the reflection of the lights from the towers on the water's surface was a sight to behold. In that period, New York City witnessed the growth of art and culture, which was marked by an era of creativity, cultural movements, and groundbreaking works that subverted established standards. Artists, musicians, and writers looking to push limits and redefine artistic expression were drawn to the city. Especially Greenwich Village became known as a hub for political activity and cultural experimentation. The Gaslight Cafe and the neighborhood's coffee shops functioned as meeting places for intellectuals and artists, promoting a thriving creative environment. Legendary members of the Beat generation, such as Jack Kerouac and Allen Ginsberg, left their stamp on the city's literary scene against this backdrop. Their writings, with their emphasis on improvisation and alternative rules, sparked a fresh round of creative and academic study. In that period, Bob Dylan, a key player in the folk music revival, became popular. His socially thought and artistic songs connected with listeners and captured the vibe of the time. Dylan's appearances in Greenwich Village establishments like The Bitter End and Gertie's Folk City cemented his position as a key figure in protest music and a national treasure. The 1960s saw a revival of Broadway thanks to groundbreaking plays that pushed the boundaries of traditional theater. Musicals like Hair and West Side Story challenged society's standards and celebrated diversity while exploring heated topics like racism, sexuality, and war. These performances provided amusement, prompted significant discussions, and illustrated the shifting social environment. New York City also had a vibrant folk music revival that forever changed the cultural landscape. Folk musicians found refuge in the city and used it as a platform for dissent, social reform, and unification. Greenwich Village's The Bitter End presented renowned musicians like Bob Dylan and Joan Baez, creating close connections with audiences. Greenwich Village's Gertie's Folk City, which also addressed civil rights, peace, and working-class problems, gave both upcoming and veteran musicians the chance to perform. The Village Gate on Bleecker Street celebrated folk music with deep harmonies by Simon and Garfunkel and lyrics with social awareness. Beyond the venues, impromptu jam sessions and lively discussions might be heard in the streets, coffee shops, and parks of Greenwich Village. Musicians from both the established and upcoming ranks who are passionate about using music for social protest and cultural expression attended the Washington Square Park Folk Festival. In terms of political circumstances, the wide range of residents and powerful political climate of New York City made the city a favorable environment for the Civil Rights Act. It developed into a hub for activists, organizers, and thinkers, encouraging discussion, coordinating protests, and promoting change. In the 1960s, New York City was a key player in the civil rights movement, acting as a thriving center of action and giving powerful people and organizations a stage from which to promote social change. Activists from New York City made up a large portion of the estimated 250,000 participants in the historic March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom on August 28, 1963. Martin Luther King Jr. gave his famous "I Have a Dream" speech during this march, stirring a nation and igniting the civil rights movement. Malcolm X became a well-known figure in the civil rights movement in New York City. He supported black empowerment and self-defense against racial oppression as a prominent Nation of Islam member. Many people were moved by his stirring speeches and unyielding opposition to racial discrimination, especially in Harlem, where he conducted protests and gathered a large following. Women's rights activism was also heavily concentrated in New York City. Gloria Steinem, a well-known journalist and feminist, co-founded Miss Magazine, a major outlet that promoted women's rights, in 1972. The first African-American woman elected to Congress, Shirley Chisholm, represented New York's 12th Congressional District and utilized her position to promote social justice and civil rights causes. Civil rights organizations and grassroots movements thrived throughout the city. The Congress of Racial Equality, CORE, the National Urban League, and the NAACP had active chapters in New York City, tirelessly working to fight against racial discrimination and promote equal rights. Also, New York City's urban issues and political environment in the 1960s were intricate and multidimensional. The era saw the rise of progressive leadership, grassroots actions, and a renewed commitment to resolving social and economic injustices, even though the city faced enormous challenges. The soaring crime rates that affected many areas were one important problem. The high-profile case of the Son of Sam serial killer in the late 1970s added to the city's people's worries about personal safety. Racial tensions were also a pressing concern during this time. The Watts riots in Los Angeles in 1964 had a ripple effect across the country, including in New York City. The riots, which erupted in response to police brutality against the African-American community, resonated with many New Yorkers who were facing similar issues. The incident spurred increased calls for police reform and social justice, as activists demanded fair treatment and an end to discriminatory practices. John Lindsay, a progressive leader, wanted to deal with the city's urban problems head-on in the face of these difficulties. His administration put into practice urban regeneration strategies to revive rundown areas while improving living circumstances. Lindsay also placed a high priority on education reform, working to ensure that all children, regardless of their socioeconomic status, receive high-quality education. Initiatives related to affordable housing were another important area of attention under Lindsay. The city's lack of cheap housing widened the gap between its people's income levels. The Lindsay administration attempted to raise the standard of life in low-income communities and increase the number of affordable housing options. So guys, that was it for this video. What did you think of it? Let us know in the comments section below. If you are new to our channel, be sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell to get notified about our latest videos. Thanks for watching.